So today we're looking at work experience. NELFT offers a number of work experience programs to both young people and adults. So if somebody is looking to change their career or interested in a career in health, we offer that to adults. We also offer it to young people who may be at school thinking about career in healthcare or college and university. So we start from about 14 all the way up. Our aim is to give a helping hand to those in our local community, and I emphasise that we do look towards our own trust area when placing people who want to learn more about the NHS. Benefits for work experience are it helps and leads to more informed choices about future careers. You may be thinking at school, oh, I really want to be a doctor or really want to work in healthcare, but you may not have any idea what. So work experience can help you get a taster for it, see if it's something you do like, or even see if it's something you don't like, so you can then make choices and change your career. It also demonstrates the huge number of jobs in the NHS. We place in clinical and non-clinical areas. A lot of, especially school people, sometimes think the NHS is just doctors and nurses and everything involved with that. There's an amazing number of different roles that are available, and it can help show people how to get into those roles. It also, if you just want to see how healthcare works, it can show you how healthcare is delivered in a certain area, so you get a better insight into that, and you could do some work experience, then lead on to volunteering. It also could be a vital component if you're doing a higher level education course or application. We can help because you can get experience to put on your application. This is a skills escalator. You may or may not have seen this before. This is what we use in NELFT. Volunteers and work experience are on the first level. It's a way of putting something on your CV, putting something in a personal statement, showing that you've had some involvement, showing that you're interested, and it may help you towards escalating your career. As I said, we do a number of different programs in NELFT. Our two main ones are Step into the NHS, and this is operated twice a year, which is April, Easter and October. We've just finished it this week, and it's basically aimed at people that don't want to be doctors or nurses but are interested in something within the healthcare system. And it's a week, and you do 2 days in classroom and 3 days in a service area, and it helps you get an idea of what's involved. We also do in the summer a pre-medical summer school, and these are people that are looking to be doctors, and there's quite a strict criteria to apply for this, but this gives you a fortnight where you get experience with doctors, you get experience of what it'll be like and placement with them. We also offer placements outside this throughout the year. So our normal placement is over a 2-week period, but it could be shorter, it could be longer, but it's down to you. We get on average a year 800 requests for placements. We are normally able to place about 300-400, so it's quite oversubscribed. So if you do have an idea of what you want to do in work experience, I will thoroughly recommend doing some research and perhaps contacting service areas to see if they'd be interested in you going to them, and that may help. Non-clinical opportunities can include IT, HR, corporate services. The service I work in, we have work experience people coming all year long within our team to see how to do admin opportunities, see what that's like and what's involved. These are some feedback that we got from work experience, and it just shows how it has helped people on their career path. It's quite rewarding with work experience and volunteering of results you get from this. We get a lot of people that come through work experience that then go on to become into a paid role with us, and the same with volunteering. We do try as much as possible to help people on their route. Obviously, we can't place them, but we do try and help them with anything they may have involved with that. This is one of our success stories. Sean started off doing work experience with us. He then became a volunteer with us, and now he's a paid employee in IT on the IT help desk. So this is real. This does happen. If you're interested to apply, we've got a website. That link there tells you, it takes you to our website. You can also just visit NELFT Work Experience, or even just email our inbox, workexperience@nelft.nhs.uk. And that's it from me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ian. Do we have any questions at all? No? Okay. Well, Julia will hopefully be sharing the slides afterwards.
Sorry, Kemi, I've put a question in the chat.
Oh, sorry, I don't have it open, which is why I didn't see and I didn't get notified. Why can't I see the chat?
So I was just asking Ian, would you, I mean, the presenters might cover this, but I was just wondering what a typical work experience placement would look like. Would I, if I was in work experience with, say, I don't know, you mentioned the technical team, would I be shadowing their work? Would I be allowed to get involved, so get some actual skills?
Yeah, depending on where you are, you would definitely be shadowing. That's part of it, and depending on the circumstances, obviously on wards and things, there are risks and things like that, but as much as possible we want people involved. So as an example, when we have work experience within our own area, we get them doing some of the work by the end of the fortnight, so they're actually seeing what is involved, what's done, and we also get them to present back to us at the end of the fortnight and what they've done and how they found it.
Thank you, Ian, that's great.
Any more questions? Okay. Yeah, like I say, if not, if there are any questions afterwards, hopefully Julia will share the slides. Ian's contact details will be on there, the work experience email at NELFT that you can contact for any other questions. But if not, we will jump into our apprenticeships section, where we have some of the apprentices at NELFT to talk a little bit about their journey, why they chose an apprenticeship, and to hopefully give you all some advice if that's a path that you are interested in taking. So I'll hand over to each of our apprentices if you want to give a bit of a welcome, so what your name is, what your apprenticeship track is, and a bit about your journey so far.
Okay, Aderonke, do you want to go first, or should I go first?
Yes, please, let me quickly go first, because I'm at the embassy at the moment and it's a bit noisy. I was called up this morning, so I had to come and needed to do this at the same time. Yes, so I may not be able to share my slide because it's a bit noisy, so I'll just run through it. My name is Aderonke Olola. At the moment, I'm working with EIP, Early Intervention Prevention Psychosis in Barking and Dagenham. I got into that same as a result of my appointment or opportunity into apprenticeship OT. I was formerly with the Waltham Forest team, where we are able to rehab patients, all patients referred from Waltham Forest that resides in Waltham Forest. And it's been a wonderful journey. I want to just quickly say that was a wonderful presentation, Anne. And having work experience is one big step into discovering who you really want to be. By the virtue of my journey, I started as a biomedical scientist back home in Nigeria, and I specialized in microbiology, parasitology. My first degree is microbiology virology. I specialized in microparasitology. And then I had my third master's in microbiotechnology before I came over to the United Kingdom. And in the United Kingdom, trust me, I've been in several roles, just finding my foot because of my immigration pathway. And that's given me a wide opportunity to work as an HCA, as a therapy assistant, as a coder, as domiciliary carer. So I know the journey, and I know what at the end of the day, I'm able to take a decision to be an occupational therapist, because in all of these allied health professions, I'm able to just fit myself. I can identify myself as an OT. I can identify myself as one knot that is missing in the life of all the patients I've ever cared for. And I realized that being an occupational therapist actually got me there. So what I just want to explain again is going through apprenticeship apparently is the best pathway for me at this age of mine, because well, I'm not running after taking care of children. My last babies were twins and they were 14 years already. So they can stand on their own and do their stuff. So I have my natural protected hours of study, which makes it a lot easier for me. And again, I'm not going to be owing at the end of it, you know, at old age, still paying bills. I don't have to go through that stress, because with apprenticeship, all fund is taken care of, and I'll end up as being a professional, registered with SCPC and coordinated by RICOT, that is Royal College of Occupational Therapists, which are the body that govern and register all OTs in the United Kingdom. And what is important again, if you want to become an OT or any of the allied profession in NELFT through apprenticeship pathway, I tell you, is a very simple way of getting in, and you have all the support ever. The best person I've ever met on this apprenticeship pathway is Katie Francis. She will give you all the support unsolicited, as if our life lies on it. So you don't have to jump around. Just make your intention known by simply sending an email to Katie Francis at nelft.nhs.uk, and she's going to give you all the support that you need, guide you. In case you don't have your English or your mathematics, the NELFT is supporting everybody to be able to get this free of charge. And also, while you are still on the journey, one important thing, however, is we look at you being undertaking an academic pathway in the last 5 years for you to be able to get onto the course straight away. Otherwise, they will require you to do an access to higher education professional, just so you get yourself back into the system. I mean, my last degree was in 2019. 2009. And so coming back to academic now will have been a hell of a journey. But for the pathway that I went through, it makes it a lot easier. In my head, I feel like a 16-year-old girl, and I'm enjoying studying again. And so if I can be enjoying studying at this age, at 50, I don't know what is wrong with any other person that cannot jump on it. So, and more so, the fact that in the academic cadre, you have support, you have supervisor on the job, you have a work mentor on the job, you have university mentor, and you have personal tutor, and all of the lecturers too, they are fantastic. I'm at the moment going through my apprenticeship at Coventry University, and I tell you, it's been a wonderful journey so far. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Ade.
Oh, there's a question. Would you need to work for NELFT to apply for an apprenticeship, or could you be a new starter?
At the moment, I think the application, the advert has been internal, but I think for the podiatrists, I don't know if anybody here is still going to be talking about that. They're going to make it both internal and external. But because we have a lot of support workers in NELFT at the moment that are internal and are interested, I think it's just so all right for us to still keep it internal, so that we give opportunity to every other support worker that may want to jump on apprenticeship in NELFT. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
Aderonke, how am I supposed to follow on from that?
Don't worry, you'll get there.
Every time. AHP day, you did the same thing. Okay. Shall I just go next, Kenny? Or?
Yeah, please.
Yeah. So, hello, hi, my name's Wendy, and I'm also an apprentice in physiotherapy, actually. So I was one of the first cohorts of physiotherapy for NELFT, well, Waltham Forest, last year. So I've actually finished my first year. So a little bit about me. So I'm a sports therapist. So I've actually studied a degree in sports therapy for 3 years. So it's similar to physiotherapy, but it's catered more to sporting athletes and things like that. So following on from that, I did that for a year. And then I thought, you know what, I'm sick and tired of these rugby players and football players. I actually want to do something with someone that actually needs more help. So I decided to, I did think about physiotherapy, but I decided to work as a band 3 rehab assistant. And following from that, I was like, you know what, I actually really love doing this. So I thought I'm going to work my way up and get more experience before I jump into, you know, doing physiotherapy. So I moved on to then become a band 4, which meant that I was able to assess patients. So this is within NELFT, sorry. So I was able to assess patients, you know, design exercise programs, you know, do onward referrals. I was looking at the patient from a holistic point of view and acting more as a therapist or a physiotherapist would. So after 3 years of being in NELFT, they finally had an apprenticeship, which I had to apply for, which I applied for. And I believe there were about 40 applicants or 40 plus, and there was only one spot and I got it. So I was quite happy and pleased with that. And you know, sort of when I think about an apprenticeship, before I was on it, I'd think, oh my God, you know, it's 4 years and, you know, it's really long. But actually, after finishing my first year, I've got a few sort of keywords that come up when I think about my apprenticeship. And the first one is like opportunity. So the reason why I've put opportunity is because it is an amazing opportunity to be able to be selected, well, for me, as an apprenticeship within NELFT, because one, I get all the support. Like Aderonke said, I get support from my line managers, from my supervisors, from my colleagues, even patients that, you know, I've told are like, oh, that's excellent. You know, you've been learning lots. The development is awesome, because when you think about it, when you go to university, because I've done it before, you know, I'm in 4 days a week. And after that, I just do what I want. You know, you don't apply it. I'm not saying that's not a good thing. You know, some people find that going to university is a route for them. But I did find that doing this apprenticeship, whatever I learned at university, I was able to bring back. Even if I had questions, I could go to my physio in the team and say, you know, actually, I don't quite get this. How would you do this with a patient? And I would be applying it. So I'm constantly adapting my learning, my understanding, you know. In terms of, you know, my patients, they're benefiting quite a lot as well, because I'll be learning all these new things. And because I'm an apprentice who's, you know, being supervised by a physiotherapist, there's a lot of things that I can do in a safe way. And that's the whole point of an apprenticeship, being able to learn on the job and actually practice this. And see how everything that you're learning is sort of unraveling in your work. So me a year ago is completely different to who I am now, even though I thought, oh, I know everything, you know, I've been doing this for 3 years. But actually, you know, the progression and the development that I've been gaining, and I'm still gaining from the apprenticeship, is amazing. Another thing is, I think Aderonke did mention it, is you know, your protected study time. So you do get protected study time. You get, you know, I have my uni days on a Tuesday, and then I have another day in the week that, you know, I get to just sort of reconfigure everything and go through the things that I'm learning and work my way through that. But also another thing is convenience. Well, the apprenticeship has been very, very convenient for me, because one, I don't have to pay for it. Okay. And when you think about the monetary value of a degree, it's, you know, degrees are very expensive, but it's for my career, it's for something, you know, in the future. I want to be able to support myself financially, and I would like to be able to support my patients, you know, really well. And also me doing this is going to benefit NELFT and the physiotherapy workforce, because we always need more practitioners. We always need new brains and new ideas. So yes, this is very convenient for me, you know, getting paid full time, and also, you know, having study time and getting all the support. It's really amazing. I don't think you can get that anywhere else, because I was actually going to do a master's in physiotherapy, and I'm so glad I didn't, because I've got a friend who is at uni 4 days a week and she's struggling. She's very smart, you know. I don't have anything against masters, but I think for me, in this moment in time, the apprenticeship is, you know, something that is right for me. And yes, it is a 4-year journey, but if you think about it, those 4 years are going to come, whether you like it or not, whether you're studying or not. It's still, you know, I'm still going to be 30 something in 4 years, so that's not going to change. So if it's about time, as long as you're spending that time well and working on yourself, I don't think it's ever a waste of time. No studying or development is ever a waste of time. So I would definitely, you know, encourage people to apply. If you don't get in the first time, that's fine. There's always next year. You know, just keep trying, keep going. And I definitely recommend the apprenticeship for people that find that, you know, sticking their heads in the book on its own is really difficult. I'm a very tactile and visual and sort of practical person, which means that for me, I could swallow a book and learn everything that I need to know, but actually, unless I'm doing it and being reminded of it every single day at work, or, you know, in a private practice, or wherever you do your apprenticeship, it's not really going to stick for me. So those are my little bits on the apprenticeship, learning on the go and just taking that opportunity, taking the plunge and giving it a go. So yeah, that's me, a 2nd year apprentice. So yeah, thank you very much for listening.
Well done, Wendy. I thought you were going to smash it. That's great. Well done, you.
Thank you, and I love the encouragement. That's definitely the Team NELFT spirit. I'll move on to Paige. I think you're next in my little square. If you want to introduce yourself and tell us about your journey.
Hi everyone, can you hear me?
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah. Okay, great. So my name is Paige. I work for the NELFT Redbridge 0 to 19 team in Hainault at the moment. So I started previously, before I started in NELFT, I worked for an apprenticeship company, and I was on the other end of the spectrum. So I was doing all the teaching and all the training and teaching young people from 16 and up to go into apprenticeships. And then I had a baby and my whole life changed. And then after that, I decided that I wanted to go back into apprenticeships. And then I found myself with NELFT. And now I work with children from newborn to 19, which is great because I love children, but I definitely didn't want to be a teacher. When I first looked at apprenticeships and I was working on the other end doing the teaching, I thought it was a great opportunity for people that didn't want to go to uni. I loved school, but I didn't want to go to uni myself. And working in jobs for work experience previously, I realised that work experience is more important, not like telling people that it's not great to go to uni. Uni is a great thing, but for some people it's just not the right pathway. So working with NELFT, what I do on a day-to-day is, at the moment we're not in the office because of COVID, but we deal with newborn mums and parents who have just had children. We do all their booked appointments. We deal with a lot of safeguarding children who have moved in from abroad. We correct records, making sure that we keep track of children and where they're going. We do a lot of things to do with children, basically. I started my apprenticeship in April last year, So I finish next April, and it's going great. I really liked it. Like the previous lady said, out of 132 applicants, I was the only one that was picked. There was another girl that was picked for a different kind of job within our like section. What else can I tell you? The challenges that we face, everything has to kind of be very precise in our job because we're dealing with records for children, so it stays with them for the rest of their lives. So we have to make sure that everything we do is precise, and learning that and going through all the processes were very difficult, but my manager and her manager were very great with training us. The training, we went into the office about 1 or 2 days a week during COVID, but the training was great. I think I learned pretty much everything within the first 3 months of my apprenticeship, and the support was great. The support from the apprenticeship company that we work with is amazing. My tutor is so lovely. He helps me through everything. He's always giving me like feedback on my work. My biggest lesson that I've learned is that being part of a team is so great. Like, you can help each other and you don't want to take that teamwork for advantage, because working from home is hard because you want to be in with your team and working and talking. And yeah, I think that's the biggest life lesson I've learned. And once I finish my apprenticeship, I think I just want to stay with my team. Yeah, I think that's it. Thanks for listening.
Thank you, Paige.
Thanks, Paige. That was great. Any questions for Paige before we move on to Sophia? No, I can't see anybody typing. So Sophia, if you want to.
Hi, sorry, I'm a bit slow. Thank you, Paige. That was a really inspiring story. I just wondered, are you kind of with other apprenticeships studying the same course at NELFT? So do you get to have a little support network internally, or are you kind of doing that apprenticeship on your own?
So no, so I'm doing a customer service apprenticeship because I've done business up to level 3 already. So this was a great like connecting course. So I actually do the apprenticeship with NELFT. So they have a company outside who come in and do sessions with me and do all my learning, but my manager is so supportive. I get study time from Monday to Friday, so I get an hour a day to do my apprenticeship work, which is great because then I can still do my work at work, which is great. But no, the apprenticeship company and my job are very close, and the two teams are great that I work with. I hope that answers your question.
It does. Thank you very much, Paige.
No problem.
Thank you, Paige. Thanks, Claudia. Yeah, Sophia, if you want to introduce yourself and tell us about your journey.
Hi everyone, my name's Sophia Ringshaw. I'm the finance apprentice at NELFT. I've only recently just joined NELFT, literally in August, straight after my GCSEs. So I'm only 16, so I'm quite young. I think I was the youngest applicant for the finance apprentice role. There was a lot of people who went for it, like Wendy and Paige said. A lot of people go for these sorts of roles because there's such amazing opportunities. But luckily I got it. I did in 2019 of August, I did work experience at NELFT. I've always been really good with numbers for some reason. I think I get it from my dad somehow, but I've always just had some sort of connection with it. So when I was growing up, I always wanted to do something like banking, maybe accountancy was one of my options. But only recently did I actually discover that I wanted to become an apprentice. During my time in lockdown, I was quite reflective because every single night you'd watch the news and you'd see all these doctors and nurses risking their lives for such an amazing cause. And I felt so inspired by it. So I decided, let me look into a career in healthcare, because my dad, he'd worked in healthcare all of his life, basically. So it inspired me to research and look up what I could do other than do A levels. I've always done quite well in school, but I wanted to try something a bit different and challenge myself, because I think that's really important, to just challenge yourself, push your own boundaries, try and do something different and not conventional. And then I came across the apprenticeship at NELFT and I applied, and here I am today. And in the future, I just hope to keep progressing as a finance apprentice. I think when I started, I was so apprehensive because I was so young in comparison to everyone. Everyone's had a really long career in finance, or they've been to college or uni and done honours degree in somewhat of business and finance. So I felt quite low in their eyes at first, but obviously I was always supported by them. I think I was quite challenged at first because I'm not the best with computers and everything is on Excel spreadsheet. So for about the first few weeks, I was very nervous and jittery because I didn't know whether I would do too well, whether it was the right choice for me, whether I should have done my A levels and gone on to do a degree instead. But I think I was reading the process notes, I was reading everything that I could to make sure that I had that understanding. And then there was just a moment where it just clicked and everything all made sense. And I think that was the most distinctive moment which I've had so far. And it definitely made me realize that speaking about my journey and maybe even writing about it in the future might help people who are my age to try and make a more informed decision about what they want to do with their careers instead. Because if I hadn't have done the research or had those thoughts during lockdown, then I wouldn't have been where I am right here today. And it would have been more difficult for me to make a decision like this. But yeah, on a day-to-day basis, I would say a lot of people say that financial language is its own language in itself, so I'll try and keep it quite simple. I do something called a payroll mismatch, so I change codes which are coded incorrectly weekly and monthly, so people get paid the right amounts. I bookkeep, so I post journals. I look at the financial status every month. I help with stores, so I apply the right amount of money to the different cost centers and the different places for stores. I read invoices, I input invoices. So that's just a basic overview of what I do on my day-to-day. And in the future, I just hope to keep progressing and just keep on working and work my way up so I can keep helping people, because it is a very lovely place to work at NELFT. I'm very grateful to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, Sophia. I can see Claudia's just put in the chat, how long is your finance apprenticeship?
So the apprenticeship works on an 18-month basis, and you go around 3 different teams. So right now I'm in the business partnering team, so we're looking at stores and journals. Then I'll move on to 2 other teams after 6 months, and then after the rotation, it's either extended to another 18 months, so it's a 3-year course. And then after that, it will be, I can either get a full-time job at NELFT, hopefully, fingers crossed, or it will be, or I will apply to study for the final bit of my qualification, which is an AAC qualification, which will be for another 3 years. So in total, 6 years studying.
Thanks, Sophia. Thank you, that was great. I can see your story is so inspiring for young people. Yeah, definitely. And I think it's important as well to note that you applied externally, if I'm correct.
Yes, I did. I did apply externally. Thank you, everyone.
I would just say, Sophia, that was a very, very brilliant achievement for you. At that age, you are the one that enjoyed the whole life of getting into adulthood in an easy peasy way. No bills on your head, even though you can't money, you know, that was very, very splendid. Well done.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
I can see Paige is typing as well, so I don't know if Paige has a question. We'll give her a moment.
Oh, sorry. I was just because I forgot the girl who's speaking. I forgot your name. I think it's Sophia.
Yeah.
It's not a question for you, but if anyone wanted to know the admin hub, like the admin side, I have a secured job at the end of it. So the apprenticeship I applied for, you're giving a secured job at the end of it. I just thought I'd let you know if anyone wanted to apply for that type of job.
That's really helpful. Thank you, Paige. And a question actually for maybe for Ian as well as Sophia, because Sophia, you said you did the work experience with NELFT first, and then a year or so later you applied for the apprenticeship. Ian, maybe you can give some advice here on how you can bridge the gap. So if you do work experience with NELFT, then how do you apply what you've learned to then maybe try an apprenticeship at NELFT?
The thing is, I came myself. I was a service user, a volunteer, then got a paid role. So I'm a story in myself. I came through and was able to, because I've been volunteering, was able to put in applications, things I've done within the trust, which helped in the progress to getting a permanent role. We do try and link up with apprenticeships and things like that for work experience. So we keep in contact with work experience people now every 6 months to see how they're going, if they need any help, if they need any advice. So it's an ongoing process, because obviously if we've got work experience coming through to NELFT, we don't want to lose them. We want to keep them within our trust and that add to our staff really. So that's what we do.
Again, I would like to quickly drop in some tips there. I think it's a fantastic thing to actually encourage people to go through apprenticeship, not just because of the financial benefit, but because of the wealth of experience that you get out of it. It's different from when people are coming fresh from university. They come into the system and they don't know anything. We start to teach them from the scratch, like they've never gone through the walls of the university. Why? Because the hands-on practical way of learning is amazing. When you do apprenticeship, you are able to internalize what you're being taught and practicalize them at the same time. So that's a very big advantage to apprenticeship over really going to the university. And I had to make my daughter go through apprenticeship too. Yeah, because it's just all that matters at the moment.
Yeah, thank you. And yeah, definitely there's so many different options aside from the traditional university route, and I think hearing all of your stories is definitely a testament to that. So thank you all for sharing.